feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to episode 19 of the BJJ Campaign Podcast. My name is Jeff Boone. I'm an A3 blue belt, one stripe.
This is Phil Kors. I'm an A2 blue belt, no stripes.
You almost messed that one up, didn't you, Phil?
Yeah.
Not used to that blue belt yet, are you?
Different.
How was the blue belt roll with Ryan last night?
Easy.
For those listeners at home that don't know,
He stopped whenever I tapped.
Brian Leggett is one of our black belt instructors at Fight to Win Denver, and it's a tradition in I think pretty much anywhere that you get, and I'm putting air quotes up, the blue belt roll, which is basically just an excuse to torture someone. We kind of hit on it last week on your roll with Steve and all those guys, but Ryan just came back. He'd been out for a little while, and you got to enjoy that.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. What do he get you with?
A whole lot of technique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of technique.
Yeah.
I recall seeing Neon Belly.
Yeah.
Was what
I tried sometimes. I even told him, I was like, sometimes people just get bored and move on, and he just kind of shook his head. And I was like, all right, I was like, I'll wait it out.
You waited. It was
10 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 seconds,
Yeah,
but yeah.
Either one. I lost track of. I blacked out. Yeah.
From the pain.
Yeah, no, I wasn't getting out. So I did try that kind of reach under the foot, grab the belt escape, and he promptly just trapped my arm to the floor. And
it's miserable.
Yeah. I was like, I made a huge mistake. Whoops. So, yeah, no, it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a lot better than I am.
Yeah. No, he is.
Happens.
He's really strong, too.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, Philly, that was a little off topic of what we were going to go into, but a nice intro anyway. What we do want to talk about is our goals and how they change whenever whenever we first start jiu-jitsu. Like whenever I first started jiu-jitsu, I was really fat.
Yeah.
So I wanted to not be really fat anymore.
Right.
And that was my goal.
Yeah.
I reached that goal. So my goals then changed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a little more about that. But for you, what was your initial goal in jiu-jitsu, and how has it changed since the evolution of your game, getting your blue belt, competing, all that stuff?
Yeah, so initially it was basically a way to get good exercise and also looking for like a hobby, something to do. So my goal coming in kind of was just to find something I like doing while also being good exercise. I hate lifting weights. I'm not good at that either. Don't like it. And just not something I want to spend a lot of time doing. Even though I've said a bunch of times I need to get stronger.
You have said that a bunch of times.
I've just done nothing about it, and I'll probably continue to do nothing about it while still saying I should.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't like doing it, so I was looking for another way to exercise, and that worked out real well. I don't even, for most of the time now, I don't even think about exercising. I didn't really worry about weight when I got there, but that never crosses my mind. And then I think since then, early on I found out about like competitions and stuff. Always been into like a competitive person, and that appeals to me for sure. So that was something I wanted to work towards like as soon as I started sparring. Basically, I knew I'd want to do it eventually. I would say my giant goal now is obviously not to suck at jiu-jitsu.
So I want to step back to that
Uh-huh.
because you said as soon as I started sparring. So before you started sparring, you didn't even have aspirations of competition, or did you?
Not really, I don't
Yeah.
think, because I would just kind of like I remember staying on my first day and watching and being like, you know, I can't do that. So
Sure.
I had like in my head probably it's hard to remember exactly. Like I've always been a competitive person, so if I knew about it, I would have been interested just like in the way I'm interested in competing in anything. Um, Same way like I like playing ping. I know I can't beat you, but I like playing ping pong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, probably a little bit on the first day, but it was pretty much once I started sparring that and like really developing the desire to get better that I was like I definitely want to try competing.
Yeah, agreed. And just for the listeners to kind of remind, it took Phil like a year and a half to start sparring.
Sure. Yeah.
It wasn't quite that long, but it was what, 3 months, 2 months, 3 months?
Probably. Yeah.
Like maybe 2 or 3 months till I shamed you into sparring, staying for sparring.
Yeah. Yeah. At that time, I was going twice a week to just fundamentals, and
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of those weeks doing a private with John.
Yeah.
So basically 3 classes a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And so that was a little different for me because I started sparring whenever I started. We didn't have like now it's they want you to have 10 classes in. I think that's perfectly reasonable before
Yeah.
you start sparring. It's a really good idea actually. But I started sparring on the first day, and like aside from that goal of losing weight and getting in better shape and stuff, I had these little micro goals all throughout. Because I wrestled for a number of years,
mhm.
and I was very big, and so just the goal of actually trying to formulate 2 moves in each position that I knew no moves in. That was kind of my
Yeah.
first micro goal of jiu-jitsu for me. You know.
I've heard that a lot. Like have 2 ideas of what you want to do in every position.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so funny. Those two, it's, almost 2 years later, and those same 2 things of whenever I got mounted, whenever I very first started, which because I think I started whenever we were doing the 360 program, and that UPA, I believe the UPA and the elbow escape were in the same fundamentals class. So from mount, I think that's what it was in the 360.
You think so?
Was it
In my head, that just seems confusing because you're gonna confuse the two. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that. But anyway, I'd seen the UPA and the elbow escape, and I was like, "That's perfect. I've got my moves from the worst or one of the worst positions in jiu-jitsu being mounted."
Yeah.
So I just literally worked on those things for like the first 2 or 3 months. Now, it was kind of easy for me to escape being mounted because nobody could really put their legs on the ground whenever they mounted me. So there was automatically a little space.
Yeah.
So I had a little confidence of that. But just having those 2 moves in each position, and gosh, it took me like probably, I'm going to say 6 months to kind of accomplish that. Not that I could get out of it, just that I had them in mind. Like I was like, I know what I'm going to try to do here. I probably won't do it.
Yeah, it won't work or anything, but
Yeah.
you have a plan. That's interesting. I've heard that a bunch. I've never tried to do that. Like I've never tried to have a plan of those one or two things for every
Mhm.
single position. I've always just tried to do things and it didn't work naturally. I didn't make a plan and then fail. I just failed by itself. But that seems like definitely a really good idea for especially starting out because I think of that fixes and helps with that panic situation, right? Because that's always what seems to bother people is like, I don't know what to do here. This sucks. Similar to how Ryan's knee was on my chest last night, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do here. This sucks. Like I tried my one escape last time, and and things got worse.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that one again. So we're kind of stuck. So I do pretty well, I think, with not panicking in terrible situations. Didn't help me with not having a plan to get out of that situation. But
Yeah, and so, and looking back on it, once you said that, that's really why I did that. Because I was like, I'm okay if I know, listen, I get I'm going to get submitted, it's fine.
yeah.
But if I don't have any idea, I think that's maybe somehow how we're different. And, you know, like whenever I go into competition, I'm going to have a game plan. I'm going to try to execute that game plan. If it doesn't work, that's fine. I've just got a game plan, right? And I think that's what it was, looking back on it, because I would be in that position if I didn't know what to do. I'd just be like freaking out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's never good when the big fat guy's freaking out. You know,
It's scary for everybody.
it's terrifying. Yeah, I mean, I could have hurt people. I didn't, but I probably could have. And so that was really what I did to combat that. And like now, because in every position I do have things I go to. Like my mind isn't preoccupied by how am I going to get out of this. My mind's preoccupied by what opportunity is this person going to give me to get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I'm rolling with John, the answer is none.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas I'm rolling with somebody else, you know, the answer is, yeah, it'll come sooner or later, you know? That's just how it has to be. So I think, you know, just looking back on it, I think that's a really good goal to have
For sure, yeah.
starting out. And I think that just expanding on that goal,
I mean, how many positions are there, basically? You got
6, right? I mean, you've got close guard, open guard, half guard, side control, mount, and back.
So 12, both sides each.
Okay, fair enough.
That's 24. If you got 24 things to do, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but when you're on offense, yes, I agree that you should have that. But I think especially I guess if I'm doing it in chronology, in time order, I want to get those defenses down before I do the offenses. So I want to get those 12 down before I worry about 12 attacks.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
At the same time, though, we were talking to somebody last night, and they were like, I don't think I've ever done anything on the back. Right? Like, they say, I have no attacks from the back at all. Which was me not too long ago. Like, I'd get on somebody's back in the back drill, and I just doing nothing.
By the way, folks, where the most attacks are, where you don't have to worry about defending.
So, I mean, not too long ago, I had I knew of the bow and arrow, but like it was like 2 weeks ago that I fixed it, you know? I fixed it, but like I realized the giant problem I have with people laying on my leg and I'm not getting myself out of the way.
Right.
That was real recent, you know? So, defending is naturally going to come first because you're going to be in the worst spots before you're in the better spots. But I still think, you know, if we're talking about definitely goals and like what you should go for, having those two things out of both sides is really good because you never want to be. I mean, it sucks too when you're on the back and you're like, finally, I'm in the good spot. I don't know what to do. You know, that's not a great feeling either. So I think working on along those same lines, having those two things would be really good.
So here's where I argue with you.
Yeah.
Right? You know, because you like it when I do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree that's a really good thing. What I really feel like is you have to have that defense first because if you look whenever you're 0 to 6 months white belt, 12 moves is a lot of damn moves to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said though, and you're going to be in the worst spots.
Yes,
because
100%.
You don't know anything else, so you're gonna naturally start playing defense first. It's not like unless you're that 1% of people who comes in who has a good idea somehow to just get on top, like you're
Garrett
gonna be on the bottom most of the time.
Like Garrett?
Yeah. So
it was really good from the very beginning.
Very few people are just gonna walk in and naturally get the good position. I mean, that's just not how it's gonna work for most people. So you're gonna be playing defense first. That's how it was for me and how it is for a lot of people. But I think if we're just discussing like what you should be working towards, I think don't ignore the offense necessarily. Not that I know you're not saying that, but you know, I think having both sides of each position familiar enough to have an idea of each side is a really good goal.
I think I am going to argue with you. I'm going to say, don't ignore the offense, but don't do two from each position. Maybe just one submission from your advantageous positions, knowing it right away, and then figure out the rest.
Okay.
Man,
let
me argue with you.
Well, it's like that's kind of ridiculous because you're like learning one. You know, you can't learn two without learning one. So it seems like a weird.
I was just trying to argue with you, that's all. I don't know. It's a
learn
failed
one
attempt.
before
It was a failed attempt, all right? It was lame. It's fine. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, but no, I think I never did that though, and I think it's a really good thing that people should definitely try to do. Kind of map out. And that's the way all the goals come up, right? Is kind of I'm kind of gonna go off topic here, but it's gonna relate to it. So we were watching. I think it was Karatera, like a deep half guard DVD or something. You just kind of had it playing. I wasn't really watching, but it was like a super deep half guard position, and I watched like one sweep or something out of it, and I remember thinking like, why am I never in that position? You know, like he has this whole attack and it's figured out off of this position, but I'm never there. And then
he had like 20 attacks
Yeah.
figured out from that one position.
So then I'm
Karatera,
like,
really good at jiu-jitsu.
he's got some stuff
And
figured
Joey's
out.
hero.
Joey's hero, definitely. Gotcha. So then I was like, am I never in that position, or do I get in that position, have absolutely no idea what to do, consider that, you know, like kind of a scramble-ish position, and just immediately keep moving to where I'm comfortable? And I think that's obviously a lot more likely, just because I don't know what to do there, you know?
Well, we kind of talked about it, right? In that, whenever you said that, and I was like, man, I think you're right. I think I've been in that position before, and I've just, you know, again, like you said, scrambled to get out of that position rather than find it as an attacking position. So maybe it's not just those, God, maybe there's an infinite number of positions that we're not even thinking about.
Well, definitely is. But for those I think for the first year, the basic ones are obviously the most important, and you're going to expand from there. But that just kind of, just talking about this reminded me of that.
I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. Now it's like my head's racing. I'm like,
because it's almost like even like the turtle position comes up all the time.
Sure.
You know, I've seen a couple things to do from there. I can't remember any of them.
Well,
and I never know what to do when it actually happens.
And so, Phil, if you were a student of the BJJ Campaign podcast, you would know that Frank Kiko's lesson at the Origin Immersion Jiu-Jitsu camp dealt only with the turtle position, and everything that he did was with that, and it really hurt.
Yeah.
And it was fun. So we can actually, let's do that. For the listeners, Phil and I, we're going to make a little experiment here. We're going to work on the turtle position for the next 2 months. Anytime that we get to do positional stuff, including tomorrow, Sunday rolls, other stuff, we're going to work on attacks from the turtle, not being the bottom turtle person. Attacking the turtle. That's my next triangle.
That's fair. Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, man, I get that. I have no idea what to do. It seems like I have a really good position, and I kind of like just end up like kind of hugging them. Yeah. It's just not good.
Yeah, I've been there. I get a turtle sometimes with you just to get a hug. That's all I'll do it for. I think this will be a fun experiment, man.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I think we'll be better in 2 months at the turtle position being attacked. No, you can't. You're right. You're totally right. I have absolutely zero fear if I turtle up with you.
That's fair. Yeah, there's nothing going on there.
As you should with me. But yeah, I really like that idea.
Yeah, no.
We're doing it. You heard it here, folks. And listen, we challenge you to find your position too. Right? I mean, we've discussed it at length, you know, my battles with the triangle, and man, my triangle is really not sucking anymore.
Yeah, it's a whole lot better.
It's not sucking. We'll just go there.
It's a whole lot better.
Good point. Great point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you drilling that and going for it and working on it shows. Even drilling the escapes and stuff that we did Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get it closed, it's really hard.
Yeah.
For me to try to do anything. I'm not the best at that that escape I like, where you're kind of trying to get the shoulder back in and drive the leg to the floor, pin it to the floor. But I mean, it used to be like when you went for a triangle, I had no fear. I would just.
Nobody did, Phil. Yeah. Nobody had fear of that.
Drive right through it, but yeah, there's.
And quite honestly, it was just an accident if I ever did it. It was only because somebody was just baiting the triangle so hard that I'd feel bad about not trying it. Yeah. Like I knew whenever I did it, I was just giving that person a license to pass my guard immediately.
Yeah. That's true.
Which is fine. I don't mind that. It's good to work on getting out of side control.
Yeah.
You know?
But now you made a lot of improvement on it, and I think that's like one of those goals going back to like the first question you asked, like knowing competition was one of my earlier goals. Now that's just side by side with not sucking. To me, it's just,
sure.
I want to do it to help not suck. That's the main one, and then all the little goals, like you're saying, of trying to learn a new technique or incorporate it, or just maybe just stop doing ones I've had success with, so I can just force myself to work on other stuff. I've been trying to force like pressure passing because I'm huge and I need to use my giant size to my advantage. So
for the listeners, Phil has actually lost weight. He's like 122 or something now. Actually, like 148 maybe. Phil, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I forget what I was talking about. I think I like doing it or trying to do it because I hate when people do it to me. You know, like it's super demoralizing when somebody just slowly passes your guard instead of like passing real fast. You know, they do it real slow, and then I fight it the whole time. And then I'm like tired and they pass the guard. That's
horrible.
So it's like I just want to try to figure out how to do that, and I'll get it. But yeah, I'm getting triangle a lot.
Yeah, sure. A lot. Well, good thing we went over that. The defenses on Thursday, right?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep just grinding it out. I'll figure it out. But yeah, the goals of just doing the new technique and just forcing it until you kind of figure it out has been all those little goals.
Yeah.
They change all the time.
Yeah, and I think too, while and I know we're kind of sticking on this, but I like this topic. I really like this topic because if you train, it doesn't matter. You're going to get better, right? If you show up and you train and you don't do any of these things that we're trying to talk about to shorten your learning curve, you're going to get better at jiu-jitsu. But if you train with purpose, taking notes, having an action plan for each position. If you train with purpose, you're going to get better faster. And that's what, if people are looking, that's what listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a patient person.
Yeah.
I want to get better faster.
Yeah, no.
And so, the secret is, I don't actually get better faster than anyone. I just spend a lot of time doing it. Mm-hmm. And I also spend a lot of time thinking about it, which I think is also accounts for maybe a little bit of an advantage if you're always thinking about what's going on and how you would attack that situation or get out of a situation. But I think that other things like goals are, both of us help with the kids. With work being very busy, I haven't been able to be in there as much. Another short-term goal for me is to try to at least get in one day a week with the kids to help coach them, because I really do find benefit in that, and also I really do like helping the academy by doing that as well. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of our responsibilities to contribute. Not everybody can, I get that, but it is one of our responsibilities. Um, so I think, you know, goals of being better fundamentally, of being able to help coach the kids more, and, you know, long term, yeah, I mean, I would like to at some point um, compete again. I'm going to at every belt level. That's always been one of my goals, is to compete at every belt level, and I want to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll probably end up doing that in the May time frame of this year, May June time frame of this year. So that's another goal, is just to at every belt level to compete. I think that's an important part too.
Yeah.
How about you? Any other?
Well, I think another funny thing that when we were talking about goals earlier just makes me laugh is like I'll come up with a goal that I want to try to do, and then I'm like realizing I suck at these other 2 or 3 things I need to fix first before I can kind of attack that goal. You know, it's like I want to work on attacking from the back, and it's like, yeah, I'm still in the bottom of side control, so I have to get out of side control, you know, recover the guard, and then try to maybe take the back from there or something. But yeah, we gotta get out of this position first. But yeah, no, that I just thought that was funny because that's happened a couple times where it's like, you know, I've had the goal of you know, just committing to sweeps to try to get on top for like 2 months probably. I'm still not like doing it, you know. It's like I gotta just do it, you know. Keep saying that, but I get into the guard and then I stay in the guard. I try to sweep and I half-ass it and don't
You
go
do.
for it.
Yeah, your hip bump sweep's very good.
It is sometimes. You know,
It is.
depends, but
I mean, you rarely do it, but whenever you do, you get me on it.
yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't have. I wish I knew, like in my head, like other than just like being comfortable, I guess.
Well, too, you like attacking from the closed guard a lot.
True. Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, that's, and we kind of, people say it, and I read about it, is that development of your game, right? I don't know what my game is yet. But I do know what I like to do. I do know that I love Kimuras, and I do know that you love cross chokes. So
Yeah.
I do absolutely know that those 2 things are going to be in our games, and we're going to refine them and develop them over the coming years in our campaign.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out how to do the cross stroke with setting up the other hand first. I've been playing with that because everybody's ready with like sees my right hand.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out how to start with my left hand, like but like already over.
Over your right.
Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit.
You think about the cross choke entirely too much. I've never thought about the cross choke
Man, it's like the only.
that much.
It's the only one that. Like, there's only been like 1 or 2 times where I thought I had it, and somebody like just straight like powered out of it, just like either just ripped my hands down. That's actually just both times what happened. Just kind of like ripped my hands off, you know, like when I thought I had it in tight.
Sure.
Like if I can get my feet on the hips and stuff, like even with a triangle, like if I don't get that posture broken, they just, you know, just stack it, and it's like I can deal with that for a little while, but eventually, like some of these dudes are just too big. Like it ain't gonna work. Even
Not good for you either.
No, but the cross choke I've gotten comfortable in where I can get my feet on the hips to kind of keep and break the posture and stuff. It's just the one I'm the most comfortable in where I feel like when I get it, it doesn't matter the size difference. It really equals it out because I can use everything.
That's Helio's favorite, right?
Makes sense.
Cross choke.
The like size difference.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can pull on your arm all I want. There's a lot of times you're just gonna. If I don't have everything perfect, you're just going to pull your arm back. You know.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, any other goals that you're thinking about changing? Anything of that nature? I think I've covered all mine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just thought that stuff was funny. That like the deep half position stuff, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I agree. And now I'm more cognizant of that position. And I have been in a couple times. And I'm like, yeah, I can't remember any of the sweeps or attacks that Tara did, but maybe I'll watch that video again and work on it. But that's way down the road.
I have to learn two moves for that position because I said that was a good idea.
I think you're right. that's not really a standard. Deep half's not really a standard position.
So what?
You're right, Phil. You're right. We need to learn 2 moves, and we're working on for the next 2 months. Turtle. Good. So let's talk about some things, and the listeners might have this kind of the same thing. You know, the rule sets change from white belt to blue belt, and they also change from blue to purple. No, yeah, purple, and then brown and black have some different rule sets depending on what tournament you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about the rule changes and looking at, because you haven't done much with the leg locks or the wrist locks.
Right. Yeah, that was one thing I'm trying to get used to before competing at blue belt, because there's obviously wrist locks, which I'm finding out a lot. You know, people have done it a little bit in the past, but never in every single position. It's like they have been.
You were a white belt, Phil.
So yeah,
they didn't wrist lock the white belts.
So
that's not nice.
It's definitely interesting because they are everywhere, and like.
I mean, not me. I would wrist lock you.
Like you can feel them coming, but I feel like then I almost overreact to it, and then that kind of gives them the reaction they're looking for, and it's just all been downhill from there. So it's fun. It's something. It's another challenge. You know, I'll figure it out eventually, but it's very cool to see something totally new like that. That's introduced to every single position. You know, sometimes you see a sweep or something that changes in guard or side control or whatever. And now it's like everywhere. Be careful.
Yeah, side goal of mine: wrist locks from every position.
Yeah, 2 wrist locks from every position.
Dude, I might already have that. I do like the wrist locks. But yeah, so the rule set's knowing that you have to be aware of the wrist locks and also be aware of the straight foot lock, right? I mean, that's the one that's allowed, right? In the
so
rule set.
I think that was the one I wiped out, right? Straight ankle lock. Is that what you mean, or is it a different one?
Straight ankle lock? No, wasn't allowed at white belt.
It was.
It was?
I think so.
Not the tournament I did.
I'm pretty sure straight ankle's been allowed.
Because I'm pretty sure I would have tried that, because you know how I love the legs.
Yeah, you do love those. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the U.S. grappling there was no
Man, I guess I could be wrong.
no ankle locks or foot locks.
I would never go for one in a competition, but right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure straight ankle was allowed the whole time. I thought more was going to be. I think what they allow now is knee bars is allowed at blue belt. I think straight ankle lock was always good.
Are knee bars allowed at blue belt?
I'm 99. This I should have read the rules better.
Man,
99% sure the knee bar is allowed.
Folks, we'll clarify this, and we'll.
I got until March to figure it out.
You do have till March. That's a good point.
But yeah, no, I think knee bar is what's allowed now at blue belt, and I think twisting foot locks aren't until brown, and heel hook I think is not until black.
Really? I thought that was brown too.
That's for this
No
food
gi.
fight competition.
Okay.
So I don't really know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got you. So that's what you're doing. Is that what you're doing to get better at jiu-jitsu, or is that just what you're doing to prepare for the competition?
That's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I thought toe holds were gonna be allowed. That's why I was reading it, because I don't like my left foot being touched still. It's recovering. You know, it's a lot better.
Sure.
But it's still, I don't like that twisting motion. Like
Yeah.
when it stretches, if I sit on my foot in the guard and I'm not warmed up, it hurts. So I was trying to be like hyper aware of that. So I'm glad I don't got to worry about that for a competition purpose at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of toe holds, Joey got me a toe hold the other day. It was great. It was a nice setup on his part.
He's getting really good at those. He
He's
uses
good.
them every time.
I love playing legs with him. He's
I think I'm like passing a lot, and he grabs my foot and sweeps me.
yeah.
It's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else? Anything else that you're doing specifically to get better at jiu-jitsu? Besides jiu-jitsu?
No.
No?
No, nothing other than trying to go as many times as I can.
You took this past week off.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, 3 times. Pathetic.
3 times a week is not enough.
Pump those numbers up, Phil.
Are we counting Sunday? Maybe 4 times a week on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah. Still didn't seem like
It
much.
seemed like a lot. 2 straight days off is
Yeah.
annoying.
So no real good transition into this next subject, but you know, you see it a lot, and for the folks out there, Phil and I are.
Well, you were just talking about it, right? You said your goal is to try to get in there once a week
Yeah.
because you're busy. How
Yeah.
are you gonna fix it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So when life gets in the way of jiu-jitsu, whether it's the family, whether it's your work, whether, you know, whatever, your significant other, anything in that respect. And again, Phil and I are probably maybe the worst people to talk about this because
I'm not a great example.
neither of us are great examples of it because we kind of, you know, I'm not married, and, you know, I do work a good bit, but that I plan my jiu-jitsu around my work schedule.
You said that.
I plan my work schedule around my jiu-jitsu.
There
Thank
go.
you, Phil.
Yeah.
That was right. So I have flexibility there, and
Jeff specifically schedules meetings around jiu-jitsu places he wants to go to.
that may or may not be true. It most certainly is true. But you know, I think the point that I'm trying to make really in a clumsy way is that jiu-jitsu is going to be there for you, right? And if you have to take care of stuff at home with family, with significant others, with anything like that, then you've got to do that. And here's where I'm going to kind of argue with myself, because the thing that's going to make you better at dealing with all that job, family, significant other stress is going to be jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So make time for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of hard because like you're still training 4 or 5 days a week, and you're just trying to get there 1 hour earlier on 1 day a week, where other people might not make it at all. Because that's probably the difference, you know.
Yeah.
The difference for you is 1 hour earlier making a extra class for a total of 3 classes on the day. You know, not
Yeah.
like you're not going at all, but
Yeah.
you know, it's something that you're gonna try to work towards, try to schedule the best you can so you can make it in for that extra class.
100%. 100%. And two, instead of finding excuses not to train, find an excuse to train.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're the world's worst at this subject. I didn't even. I feel like we should tackle it now. I feel like we shouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, I hear people like sometimes they're like, I didn't feel like coming in today. I'm really glad I did.
Yeah.
I never feel like not coming in though. I don't know. Maybe it'll change.
No. Or I mean, maybe it will.
I hope it doesn't, but you know.
It doesn't with me. I'm always looking for an excuse to be able to go.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm stressed and I got a lot of stuff going on at work or whatever, you know, I'm going to try to make a goal of completing the stuff that I have to complete and putting the rest of the stuff off till after class if I have to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
But I guess actually thinking about it, like that's how I've felt about like working out in the past. Like after I work out or like run or something, I hate doing it, but like afterwards I feel good. I just like the jiu-jitsu is the best part, so I've always wanted to do that. Like my struggle is like taking enough time not doing jiu-jitsu so I can do more jiu-jitsu long term, because like I had to miss 2 or 3 days last week I think it was, because like I just have 5 little tiny injuries that none of them are that bad, but all of them at the same time is really annoying to deal with.
Because they came from your one bigger injury.
Yeah. So then I'm losing more time. So I'm trying to schedule not going in, and that sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky because that's all I want to do.
Yeah, agreed. I think that was a failed subject. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, get in and train as much as you can.
Yeah, I don't make many plans outside jiu-jitsu, but when I do, they're definitely not going to get in the way of jiu-jitsu. It's like, yeah, between 7 and 9:30, I'm unavailable those days.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe we'll get better at covering this subject in the future, but we're just not good at it now. So, hey, that's okay. We'll work on things.
Well, and there's also, on the same topic, like the BJJ Brick podcast. I've heard...
Great podcast.
I can't remember, not Byron, the other guy who likes Kimuras.
Gary,
he talked about there was a year where he was just so busy with his family and work and stuff, he only trained Saturday mornings. But he trained every Saturday morning. It was the highlight of his week, and he was still always in there.
Yeah.
That's hard to talk about now because I've only done jiu-jitsu for a little over a year.
Sure.
Where he had done it for a few years before. He'd been through it, and he's still working on stuff, and he kind of has a game plan where, if I even now go down to 1 day a week, I'm going to forget most of what I do know and not learn anything new for sure. There's just no way. But that's just a different outlook, and I'm not able to have that until I've been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, no, agreed. I don't think, it's not really a subject that we can talk intelligently about right now, and that's okay.
Never stopped us from talking about anything before.
100%. Or in the future. So, very good. Well, Phil, tell the audience, if they wished, how to support the BJJ campaign.
Keep liking our stuff on Instagram because it's getting super popular.
Let's check out.
Lots of cool pictures of Jeff doing cool stuff, and mostly jiu-jitsu and sitting next to the microphone.
That is true. We almost broke that 100 followers, 98 followers. All right, and we are following 147. But yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Also, go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel. Like you said, there's lots of great information on that.
There's cool videos on what to do from the turtle position on the YouTube channel.
That we will be reviewing here in the next 2 months. And also, we got these sweet, I'm pointing to my BJJ campaign shirt, sweet BJJ campaign shirts for sale on our website, bjjcampaignpodcast.com. And you too can look suave and debonair in your BJJ campaign.
And we've gotten a couple, and I'd like more, just like questions and stuff that you guys have. Or again, I always like it when I realize I've been doing something dumb for a long time, and I realize a little bit better way to do it. If you guys have that happen, just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because chances are very high that I did the same stupid thing, and I just forgot about it right now.
Yeah, agreed. So with that, we're going to end the podcast. And if you're not out there trying to do something to make yourself better each and every day, get out there and do it. Phil and I choose Jiu-Jitsu. We hope you do too.
I'm about to feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is on. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. It's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.